Hello everyone, my name is Arun and welcome to my channel. This series is user tutorials on C programming, and now in this tutorial we'll be looking at the do while loop. Now in the previous video we saw about the while loop, and this is how if I were to simplify and explain what happens in a while loop, this is as follows. You check for a particular condition using the while loop, and if that condition is satisfied you do something. Simple as that. Now do while loop is a slight modification of that. Here what you do is you check for something, you do something and then you check for condition, and then you do something, you check for condition, like that. So here what happens is that you check the condition, and if and only if the condition is true you do something. Here you do something and then you check the condition, and if the condition is true or existing, you repeat this process. So when you're using a while loop, you don't get to do some action if the condition is false in the very first check. Whereas here, even if the condition is false in the very first check, you get to do something first before terminating. So that is actually the fundamental difference between a while loop and a do while loop. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to ask a number from the user, and we are going to print the number in the reverse order, all the way from the number the user printed till 1, and we are going to break that. Okay, now for that let me write the program, and this is going, and for which I need the stdio.h file. Okay, and then you need the int main function, and let me put the return statement over here. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get two inputs, two variables num, and then if I want I can I think num will more than be sufficient. I'm not going to use this number possibly. Then let's ask for user input. Okay, and let's see, printf. Okay, let me put some empty spaces over here so that it's big enough. Okay, printf enter a number. Okay, and then scanf. Since this is an integer, I can use %i, not a problem, and then I pass the address of num. Okay, and now here comes the main part, the do loop. So first what I do, just like we saw on the top, the syntax is very similar. You write the do loop and then put the brackets. If there is only one statement to be executed, you don't need the brackets, but if there are multiple statements, you need the brackets. Okay, and now what you do, you just type the print. We'll type the print statement because we want this to be printed. So we write %i and then escape sequence \n, so that we put this to the next line after printing it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to decrease the number by -1. I can write num equals num -1. Okay, num equals num -1. This is equally a legitimate statement, so they can legitimate statement. Instead of writing like this, we can use this simplified notation that also does the same thing. Okay, it's like an operator. And now what we can do is we need to attach the while condition over here. The condition is that as long as the number is greater than 1. Okay, so here's what happens. We get a number from the user. Okay, we get a number from the user, and the user gives a number, and then what will happen is that this do loop will execute. First we'll just print the number. Okay, we'll print the number and subtract the number by -1, and then we'll check for the condition. Okay, and if the condition is agreeing, it will just proceed again. Okay, and we'll go and then do this option, check for the condition again, and then do this option, check for the condition again and again till that condition is broken. When the condition is immediately broken, this loop terminates, and then we proceed down. Okay, now let's have a run at this. I already have my shell script ready. I just have to make a modification here because I'm using the file name is print_num. I don't need this one at the front, and I can run this in this terminal over here. I can also run this in a separate terminal over here, which is, either way that's okay. Now it says return 0. Let's see, what did I type now? Oh oh yeah, I forgot this colon over here, semicolon, my mistake. Yep, it worked fine. Now if I enter something like 5, fairly intuitive. It just prints 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and so on. Now if I print something like 10, it prints, okay, 10 to 1, fair enough. Now let's try something interesting. I just told, this loop will break if I give a number that is 0 or less than 0. Okay, so if I put a number like -1, check what happens. It prints out it prints out this, and and then it'll check for the condition, and immediately when it checked out, this loop gets terminated. So here, even though the number I entered is positive and it should not be printed out, it gets printed out over here. This is actually an illustration for the while loop, do while loop. If you want a particular action to be executed, regardless of the condition being true or not, okay, if you want a particular action to be executed at least once, even regardless of the condition being true or not, you use this do while loop. And if you want a particular set of action to be executed if and only if the condition is true, okay, for several number of times, then use the do loop. Okay, that is actually the fundamental difference here. And now what I'm going to do, just for modification, I'm just going to comment this line out, and then I'm going to write while over here, while num greater than 0, and then I'm going to comment this line. Now check this out. If I try this and I try 5, fair enough, it works. And now if I try this with something like 0, this loop will not even get printed out. And then if I try something like -1, same result as above. So that is actually the fundamental difference between a while loop and a do loop. Hope you all understood this. Okay, and this actually comes in different applications. I mean, most of the time your your while loop will be more than sufficient, but once in a while this do while loop might come in handy. So it's always good to know the alternatives behind it. Okay, and that's all I have for you all in this tutorial. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time with another interesting video. Till then, take care.